but like we get caught, appropriately.
To be
We're
fair, we didn't
streamlined.
say anything that would get us fired. Like we
True.
all we said was like alleged. We're only alleging. Things.
Allegedly, only allegedly said this stuff. They're like, no, it's recorded.
Yeah. In fact, we have you here saying, no, not allegedly. He definitely did it. He's 100%. You can take me to court over this. This is not libel.
You're taking that out of context. It was like, no, you said it in front of the notary. He notarized it right as you said it.
And you even said, here's the context
second quote here. We'll finish up this thing. I didn't know you guys had all this if we're being real.
I mean, you posted it. This didn't get leaked. You posted it and labeled it.
There's a mixture with wires. It's a whole thing. I plead the first. They're like, yeah, we know you're not arrested. You are allowed to say all that.
All right, let me get rid of noise.
Oh, sorry.
From the Standing Stone Farm Studio right outside downtown Nashville, it's time for the most ridiculous sports podcast in the world. So sit back, relax, and listen as Bobby Butler and Brandon Bond crack open a cold one and talk all things hockey, pop culture, and complain about everyday situations. It's the Pucks Out Podcast on the Penalty Box Radio Network.
Welcome into the most ridiculous podcast in sports and pop culture. I'm Bobby. He's Brandon.
Heyo.
You can find us on the three majors of social media at Pucks Out Pod. Now let's crack open this cold Mayday beer and let's get after it. Ooh, it has been a long week, and I am glad to have this angry redhead.
Ooh, me too.
Needed, but don't forget,
Twinsies.
Nice. Don't forget, Pucks Out is powered by Mayday Brew, the official beer of Pucks Out Podcast. Catch them every Tuesday for Singo and Thursday for Bingo, where you can always make some friends. I almost said where everyone knows your name, but then I quickly realized, that's a thing.
Oh,
I didn't just make that up.
People are going to Boston all of a sudden, and like they're like, "Where's Mayday?" We're like, "Shit, Ozzy, that was us. That was us."
As I was like talking, I was like, "Ooh, that comes off that rolls off the tongue. I might use that."
Rolls.
Then I realized, honestly, that's why. Yeah.
Honestly, it's got to be in public domain by now, right, Bob?
I mean, I would assume.
It's Happy Birthday.
Was it ever trademarked?
Well, I mean, it's a song.
Like,
for sure, it's trademarked.
I'm saying just the I'm saying just the phrase where everyone knows your name is not.
Well, see, I think where we got, or where we're gonna get got legally is probably this discussion. Number one is probably just the number one thing that, because the intent is really gonna matter there. I would have to imagine, but also we're using it to tagline a brewery. So I feel like
not a bar, a brewery.
Oh, a loophole. I like it. I like the loophole.
Yeah.
Honestly,
now, if we do go out and hire Ted Danson, now, yes, I could see maybe iffy.
No, I think
but also
Ted
Danson.
Slide. Well, see, but if we hire Ted Danson, he's probably got like percentage rights in that, and he's like, I can use it to make my own. So honestly, you went with like that's gonna get us in trouble. I feel like that's our.
But now,
only
I
move
agree.
Now.
Yeah.
So who do we got on the podcast with us now? We got Mike Tyson. We have, was it George Clooney? I think it was the Clune, right?
Clune was in there. Yeah. Yeah. Because we were talking about Batman nipples.
Yeah. And so we bring Ted Danson on, bro. We're
a solid trio.
We're on our way. Trio. Yeah. You notice how you just said trio, Bob? They are going to be the trio. Pucks Out Podcast is just going to get taken over by those three, where we kind of just sit on the sidelines. Man, honestly, I've noticed, and I don't know if you've noticed, lately, our shows have been getting a little bit more unhinged. Not that that's a bad thing. I would imagine we've been bringing an audience in for that, but
yeah. And I don't want to get too unhinged, but maybe I'm just going to skip real quick to a question from the internet we don't have yet.
Sure.
Fuck, marry, kill. Clooney, Tyson, Danson.
Oh, okay. I mean, I'm scared that if the one I pick to kill, I'm not successful. So I think I just gotta. No, I'm gonna attempt the kill on Tyson for sure.
Oh, really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah,
I was thinking
Bang
Mary Tyson.
Clooney, Bang Clooney, and marry Ted Danson. No, see, because I feel like the gravitas of of having Tyson as your spouse, it probably goes out the window, Bobby, whenever he domestically abuses you. Not that I'm saying that he does. I'm just saying if that possibility ever happens, which is 100% for every person that's ever lived, I feel like I could square up a bit with Danson. He'd beat my ass, no question. But it's like afterward, he's like, there's a point where he's also done with the fight, and he's like, all right,
Yeah.
So Tyson, I feel like, and I'm very sarcastic and a little rude and a little know-it-all-y sometimes, but Tyson would kill me within a day. I don't even think they'd classify it as
In a
as
day?
domestic abuse.
You're giving yourself a day?
I'm giving myself a full day, the honeymoon phase. I feel like I could make it through the day.
I thought you meant if you attempted to kill Tyson, you would survive the day. I'm
no,
like,
no.
You're not surviving.
I'm assuming,
Yeah.
no, I'm assuming I just have cyanide that I drop in one of his. I'm assuming that the kill's 100%. I'm saying if I married Tyson, I give myself about a full 24 hours before I've annoyed
It's got to be
Tyson,
a long distance.
Tyson to the levels of him either beating me or killing me. And some people, and maybe I misspoke, Bob, I said domestic abuse. I think it would be justifiable homicide at that point, right? Like, I mean, they're like, bro, have you lived with this guy? Like, he's terrible. So yeah, I'm marrying Danson, and I feel like,
to be fair, if our spouses had the power that Mike Tyson has, we'd be dead already.
oh my gosh, Bobby, I knew my current spouse in high school, not like high school sweethearts or anything, but just like in a general vicinity. So you can imagine me now, just like subtract like 15 years of growth, and that was me. She'd have killed me, and we weren't even dating or anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So,
Yeah.
let's be glad for our wives not being Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Thanks, ladies. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah. One day we might actually have to like.
We might have
maybe
to
not
own
this
up to these
episode. Or maybe
statements.
this episode. Who knows? Well, I was gonna say we need to like cast the Murfreesboro version of Cheers now, and like actually like
Ooh.
who is our Ted Danson? Who is our Frasier? Like all those things.
Okay.
Like what celebrities are we having down here in Murfreesboro? So we'll figure that out.
We'll do it. That'll be
yeah. Because we have actual stuff we need to get to. How are you this week, bud? We are still.
We talked a bit about it. We talked a bit about it. I'm doing well, man, and I don't want to. I think I said unhinged, and that is a little bit correct. But it's just we're going to the office now, and like we're recording later and on a different day, and you and I are very much creatures of habit. So our shows lose a little bit of that very little structure we had, at least we have our talking points, but we are losing it. But I'm good, man. I heard from a friend that he got to call some plays. Did I hear that last week? Or was that, no, you texted me this. So the plan is in full motion, right? We are, so we haven't given it a code name, but code name Sabotage, maybe? We're just going to go straight to the point.
Code name Full Eyes, Open Heart. I don't know what the saying was.
Okay,
open eyes, full heart.
Yeah, well, we'll just go with your first version. I loved it. But yeah, man. So it
sounds like what a heart surgeon says before he goes in. Yeah,
big deal, bro. You're on your way to being Sean McVay. So congrats on that, bro. How you been doing, man? I've been just
good,
working,
man.
So.
Busy. It's nice to actually have. Yeah, it's good to have a conversation with actual adults and not 15 through 18-year-olds like I have all day right now, pretty much.
You just talked with Megan a few minutes ago or something? Boom. Self-burn.
Doing well. Quick fit check. I'm doping this. I'm rocking this dope ass hat that we got at the beer festival. Yeah,
dope hat.
Definitely won that hat exchange.
You did, absolutely. Rocking the API shirt, Auburn, Alabama Polytechnical Institute. I think I've worn it quite a few times. It's the original. It was what Auburn was before it became Auburn University. So, and then I'm rocking the yellow and blue TriStar. Not want to go too hockey because it's not yet hockey time officially, but I wanted to get into Preds colors to, get the feel. So
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude. All right, let's move right into the news.
Everything you need to know about what's happening on the ice. It's time for news from inside the boards.
All right, the NFL.
Nope. I flipped them.
Oh,
we probably should go to the hockey news. I flipped them. I tried to tell you. I tried to warn you. I'm sorry.
You put it on the teleprompter.
I know.
All right,
I never. I'm taking the hit on this one, bud.
Outside the NHL, but
NFL is back, baby. Honestly, you would have gone through the whole thing, wouldn't you? We would have talked NFL.
Yeah.
We would have discussed
100%.
it. Yeah, man. I'm glad I caught it because I almost didn't, bro.
People say they would love to be a news anchor and how it's the easiest job in the world. I feel like it's actually would be an extremely hard job.
My gosh, having to read all the day. Come on, dude.
And having to constantly get haircuts all the time.
I don't even qualify.
I'm just trying to schedule.
Well, to be fair, they probably got a guy, right? Like they just got a guy that's on site. You
would hope so.
I mean, probably not. But
it's
the dream.
Yeah, Devils signed Keith Kincaid to a 1-year, 2-way contract, $775. I assume that's $775.
$350K. Yeah.
Okay.
$350K.
So yeah, not a bad little sign. I mean, 1 year, 2 way.
A little depth there.
Yeah.
Definitely some good spot starts when he's had to play. I think he played. I know he's played there before. He was the backup this past year, right?
That sounds right.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't have that. I didn't have that on file. But yeah, I mean, either way,
I didn't. Yeah.
Definitely, a good depth ad and at a good price where goalies are most certainly at a premium. Yeah, I mean that's we've already talked to them, so that's why I actually brought this signing up. Otherwise, we would have just put it in the team review.
Yeah, but all right. So the next up, we don't have much to talk about, but you brought this up. We have a little bit of a feud going on between the worst people you know.
One of the two. I mean, one guy though, we have not a better relationship, but we have more of a relationship with one over the other, and that would be Mr. Mike Babcock. He is a frequent flyer in the coach house, so we've had a good. We've had good opportunities to see him 4 and 5 and 6 times since we opened up the coach house while he waited for his next job. And then Mr. Paul Bissonnette, I forget his name, but his first name. But
Mr.
Biz. But Biz he released it on Spit and Chicklets, but Bissonnette also does NHL and TNT. So he's very in tune with the league. He came out. I'm going to give the condensed version. Basically said he heard from a source that Mike Babcock is basically making players share their phones with him and all their photos with him. Babcock and Boone Jenner came out with an official release with Columbus Blue Jacket headlines, not just a, tweet or whatever. Basically, calling it a complete miscategorization of what has occurred, where he's going to get to know you with the players and wanting to see pictures of their families and, get to know them. Not something that, Babcock is traditionally known for, being a very empathetic coach and a player's coach. But, most certainly anybody has an opportunity to change. Nothing weird that's coming out of the Blue Jackets camp. Bissonnette doubles down, sends the text that somebody texted him, basically saying like he confirmed it with, why he wouldn't have done this without receipts or something. But it's basically just one guy texting him and saying, hey, you should slip it into the podcast that Babcock's doing the same hinky stuff he's always done as a power play type of deal. And so it's been going back and forth. The NHLPA is involved, investigating and talking to players. They've come out and say, I mean, it's nothing there's, as far as they can tell, I mean, they haven't spoken one way or the other. Nothing is below board or anything. It's all, all basically coach getting to know a player and talking to them. A non story, as you so well put it earlier when we were discussing it. A non story if it's any other human being on earth. So it's a very interesting take. I did not confirm this because I just got it before we got the doc together, but I heard he's saying uh some nasty things towards the Blue Jackets organization. And it's just a bad look for be controversial and stuff. Hey, I know that NHL wants their NBA on TNT, or I keep saying NHL on TNT, NHL
Yeah.
on ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh, what we could hope for. Um, and they want that, rough and, back and forth. And this guy's caught stirring stuff up. Well, the thing is that Shaq and Charles Barkley know how to stir things up where it's going to rile people up and piss them off. But he's not, it's just a different kind of dynamic as well. So it's very odd that he's going so hard on this without any real evidence. And like, also, why do you
100%, yeah.
care? Like, now you're just being embarrassed. You shared an interesting point. I've obviously talked all about this, that I totally agreed with, that we kind of wanted to fly neutral on this for
Yeah.
obvious reasons, right?
100%. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that could come out in a couple months, if, say they're not winning and he's in a hot seat, or he has players that want to leave and they're asking for more money. Well, would we all be that surprised if he has access now to their,
Right.
like their iCloud, and he
Right.
uses anything he can to, get what he wants?
Well, yeah, that, or, just anything that is like psychological type warfare, that it's something that this guy is well known for. It was a very good point that, look, I mean, nobody's a hero here. There's just one less of one's being less of a villain in
Yeah.
this moment for sure. Like, I didn't want to construe it like, hey, Mike Babcock is he's a straight shooter, and, definitely hasn't covered up anything terrible and been a part of anything bad. I would never say it, on those unfounded allegations that I would never throw out there. But I'm gonna stay in a neutral camp and say that both parties are assholes, right? They're both
Yeah.
dumb. First, why are we talking about it? But also, Mike Babcock, why are we talking about it? Because you've been your whole life. That's why this is a story. Just a weird thing. I mean, hey, we're talking about it. I'm sure that the Blue Jackets are excited to have, people talk about this instead of their play on the ice. I mean, it's a win-win all the way around for everybody. So I think that we need to, weirdly enough, go backwards in the dock, but move on.
Yeah. So now we're going to move into outside the NHL.
Now that you know what's happening inside the boards, time for the rest of the headlines with news from outside the boards.
All right, the NFL is back. Let's go. Despite low touchdown numbers and a lot of injuries, it was absolutely glorious. The sad news, though, there is only 119 hours of uninterrupted football left in the season. You told me that, and I assumed did you have to Google that, or did you already know?
I did the math. I mean, I just did it on my phone. I didn't just like in my head. I'm not. They all know me. Everybody was like, yeah, I mean, he just did it on a calculator, obviously. Yeah, no, I did the math, because after it finished day one, I was very sad because the touchdown montage was only 59 touchdowns, Bob. 59 touchdowns, which sounds like a lot, right? No. Last year, I think it was like 79. The year before that, it was like 83 or 84. Lots of, I don't want to, I mean, it's probably just more obviously recency bias, but it felt like a lot of injuries and a lot of more mainstream injuries, and some people were injured by by T. Higgins, and he didn't get injured, but whoever had T. Higgins was injured, an injured party, and probably has rights to sue him. Um, Obviously, lots of injuries. So obviously, probably the main devastating ones to me, not like personally, but just like as a outside of fantasy, outside of anything else, just the nature of it. J.K. Dobbins, Achilles tear, on a last year of his rookie contract, a dude now that'll never probably get another max type of deal. And then, Aaron Rodgers, what the Jets could have been with them. Obviously that was gut wrenching. But what a win.
Yeah.
The Jets came away with there. Anything of specific note, we can talk a little bit more game wise, but anything you wanted to kind of
Well, I
highlight for
mean,
yourself?
you can just call me Nostradamus because I made a hell of a prediction that came true. If you ignore all the ones that didn't,
Right. Well,
I did say Josh Allen would have more rushing yards than Aaron Rodgers has passing
that
yards.
was, dude,
And that is
honestly,
true.
You shredded that one. Like, even if you included his run down the tunnel, I mean, I think that you still beat that one. Boom. No, yes, you shredded that one. Let's try to think back of what we got absolutely wrong, which was a good bit. I think we hit on a couple things. It was like you mixed up your signals, Bob. I mean, it was very clear you knew what was going to happen, but something in your head. It might have been the wind. When you saw Chicago, you saw that windy city, and you said it's the Bears' day, but it actually swirled up the colors, and so it was an absolute domination. You had that part nailed. If you would have just stopped talking at that point, you killed that prediction. Unfortunately, you said it was going to be the Bears dominating, and they looked bad. In all seriousness,
Yeah, they did.
They looked. It was like they've been pulling the wool over our eyes all off season. Like, look at this shiny toy. Look at this shiny toy. Look what we've done here. Look what we've done here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we're gonna go back to calling 2 designed runs for Justin Fields. Although last year when he started picking it up, it was 5+ a game. Like, it's just like, oh, how quickly we forget. That was terrible. However, Packers look pretty decent. Jordan Love looked pretty, not great. I mean, only one player threw 3 touchdowns with no interceptions on Sunday, and that was Jordan Love. So, hell of a game there. Washington snuck one through.
I thought Washington was going to. I mean, but I thought Washington was going to handle themselves. I mean, maybe it's just jitters from a new era in Washington with a new ownership, and it was the first time that they had a sellout in several years, so maybe they just weren't used to playing in front of their own home crowd in a while.
Maybe so. Maybe so. Hey, a win's a win in the NFL. It hurts to see, but hey, they don't never go back. They don't ever go back and say, well, that was only by 1 point against Arizona. No, you get to count it.
I think you said that. Like, I know you said this is the game that you thought could be a tie. And that's Dallas, New York, and it's quite the opposite of a tie.
Yes, I forgot about. I was like, which one? I knew I got one just like so in the realm. But honestly, Bobby, we change one number in Dallas's score. If we just take away that 4, bro, I was one number off, dude. That is not even. Think about how many numbers there are.
To be fair, I was also one number off. If you add a 1 in front of Chicago's score, they absolutely blow out Green Bay.
But the thing is, 100 points doesn't get scored in the NFL. That's implausible. But 0 points does sometimes. So obviously, as you saw, New York just proved my point. Nobody's ever scored 100, Bob. Yours, that was a little hinky argument, but I really can't believe you used that. No, Dallas defense looked completely dominant for sure. And New York got out of it early and just couldn't get anything going. I think New York's not a great football team, but definitely better than that team they put on. But I also think that Dallas defense is just, really, really good. So I really, that kind of changed my mind on some things. And Tony Pollard
Miami looked good.
looked great. Oh, Miami looked great. And to be fair, the Chargers looked great. Both of those teams could have beat almost any other team if they played like that against any other team. It's like the two highest, fantasy scoring guys that face off that week, and one team has to walk away with a loss, even though, you messed up your league and didn't do a median. You know what I'm saying? No, Tua he looked great. Last year, it was a lot of, just getting it in Tyreek Hill's vicinity. And, you and I can do that. And but he was having to come and like save play. We're not like Tua, but I'm saying like we could toss passes to Tyreek Hill. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. This time, bro, there were points I was like, dude, if Tyreek would have been running faster, he would have just, he could have put it a little farther. He got more air yards on that thing. He looked really good. I absolutely agree. The Titans defense definitely played up for sure. Horrendous, atrocious looking offense. Bengals looked bad. Definitely a fun weekend. Lots of, like we said, injuries, but the show must go on, man. Any bold, after seeing week one, year-long predictions that you'll definitely remember if it's right, but we'll definitely forget if we don't hit.
Let's
Doesn't
see.
have to be Super Bowl winner or anything like that, though. You can call that shot.
Yeah, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna look at the schedule before I make this outrageous claim. And even after doing that, yeah, I think Miami undefeated.
Undefeated
season for Miami.
Oh, you wild boy!
Miami.
Why you gotta ruin the game? No,
I think
sure
they beat the Patriots, then they beat the Broncos, then they beat the Bills, then they beat the Giants, the Panthers, the Eagles, Patriots again. I think they sweep the biggest game of the season against the Chiefs.
Yeah, you don't have to say sweep, Bobby. You don't have to include the word sweep. If they're winning them all, everything they've swept it all. Okay.
But I think that I think the biggest hump is that game right in the middle of the season. I'm assuming it's a Monday night game. It's an 8. Oh no, wait, that's a England game. It's 8:30 in the morning. I thought that's at 8:30 p.m. That's an 8:30 in the morning game against the Chiefs. So yeah, I mean, if we're just talking outrageous things, and that I think could come true, I think this Miami team goes undefeated. Then they become the second team and the only team still to go undefeated and win the Super Bowl.
Okay. All right. So I've got a question for you that builds off of this. Every time, without fail, team gets to like 10-0, 11-0 or whatever, and the talk starts, as it should. I mean, we're talking sports. Can they do it?
Yeah.
Can they do it? Every single one of the still living 72 Dolphins or whatever, it's just an immediate shit fest all over whatever team. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could have never done it then. They could, they'll never break it.
I think they're on the board. I think they're on the train. I think they're on the hype train.
You think they're with it? Okay. That's what I was going to ask.
I think they are. Yeah. I think they're with it
because it's never really been a possibility for their team. It's like, oh
yeah.
One of them like tweets like, this team is fucking trash. Like, and they're like, whoa, we don't do that here, buddy. Like, the Dolphins will still be the only undefeated team. So a great prediction. Really great way. Like, there's no way obviously there's no way we forget that if the Dolphins go under. All right, now regular season. Now, and I'll even give it to you if it happens. Are you calling the whole show, Super Bowl and all?
I'm calling regular season, but then I was saying it would like that. But I think if they go undefeated, then maybe I think I'm willing to then later on say, you know what though, they went undefeated. I mean, undefeated team. Team goes undefeated regular season. It's hard to say. Like,
I'll take it. I'll even let you reevaluate when we get to the 16 or the 17-0 Miami Dolphin #1 seed. I'll let you even see their potential pass through the Super Bowl, and I'll let you reevaluate if you meant the postseason also. Because you did it, with your Nostradamus by looking at the schedule. It's not really, you didn't look at every other team's schedule to know what they're going to be ranked and where they're going to score. So it wouldn't be fair for me to say predict the postseason, Bob. You've already set yourself a lofty goal at 17-0, I'm not going to make you go for 20-0 right off the bat, dude.
Yeah. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to go out and they're going to lose
week.
58-0 to New England.
They are losing. They are. You have sealed.
I have
this team.
already. Yeah.
About 4 months ago.
Yeah.
When we started talking about this,
I put money on New England, so I'm putting money on New England. So
it hasn't been reported yet, but I'm waiting any moment now for Tua to surprisingly retire. His concussions have popped up again. He wanted to end on a good note. Yeah. That was always his plan. Tyreek Hill says, you know what? I'm with you. Got to spend time with the kids, grandkids. Jalen Waddle says, hey, I'm not playing without my boys. And it just immediately, all these things start streaming through. And then you know what, Bob? They still go 17-0 and you still get credit for the prediction, boy. All right. So I'm going to go a little more realistic. And it's probably one I won't even remember if it actually happened. I might because it could very easily crash and burn. Probably not to your level, Bob. I'm not going for the whole enchilada here. I think that the Rams are going to win their division. And if you're unsure of why that's a crazy bold prediction, because they were more than likely predicted by most people to be third or fourth in that division. The San Francisco 49ers also play alongside the Rams. And so making it, if you don't understand how divisions work, a very tough path for them to go. If you watched the Niners absolutely make Kenny Pickett look like, oh yeah, Kenny Pickett, it was really cool that you played good in preseason. They call it that for a reason. You know, he looked like a small child out there. Najee Harris looked bad. So that's my bold prediction. Sean McVay figures it out, figures out a way to get it done. And it's going to start with this is a rare double prediction. I will drop my first prediction if this second prediction doesn't come true. They play each other this week, and McVay, I think that it's like, I can't remember who has whose number, but the Rams are going to win this weekend against the Niners, going on to win the division. No predictions past that, but that's my call.
My next bold prediction, I'm making one more.
Okay.
And I think that is.
I feel like that's only fair since your first prediction is going to be done after week 3, bud.
Yeah. I want something that at least lasts until after next week. And I think
exactly.
I think the Browns.
See, like mine can last at least until week 10. You know what I'm saying? Like I can well, maybe, but you are done as soon as there's a loss.
So I'm going to say something that can at least last until the end of week 3. And that is, or week 4, I guess, technically. I think the Browns only lose 2 games this season.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say Browns. I'm going to write them down so we can always, one of us is going to remember them and point out the other's failures.
Yeah. I think they lose to the Rams. And I'm going to say, I think they drop.
I'm not going to put that in the prediction. I'm just going to let you have the 2 games.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they dropped the game. I think they dropped the game to the Rams, and I think they dropped the last game of the season to the Bengals.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I'm just projecting that the Browns. So obviously that also means they're winning their division.
They're winning. So honestly, do you want to switch to that? Because that's already a very lofty goal, my friend. You can subset it. You can subset it with. I'll just put that in parentheses. That's just your double bonus prediction. But winning the division, again, a very lofty goal. Because like if they play great and lose 3 games, Browns, like your whole prediction's done.
The Browns have. I mean, they're ranked pretty high this season. I'm trying to think. I was watching.
They have the stuff, bro. I don't think that the winning the division's that crazy, but the Browns winning it is crazy. I mean, nobody's going to predict them to win it because they're going to figure out a way to mess it up.
Yeah, I think so. I was watching the other day, and Stephen A had his top 5, and it was 49ers, Cowboys, Dolphins, Browns, Eagles. So, I mean, people are talking about this Browns team.
Oh, for sure. But Stephen A is not the plethora of great takes that I'd go to. I do want to give you a shout out. Your boy is gonna be playing Tampa Bay out of the Caleb Williams sweepstakes, it seems. Baker Mayfield looked very competent. That's about as far as I'm willing to go. But a couple drops by Mike Evans don't happen. And this guy had 3-4 2-3 more touchdowns. Looked very competent against a weak Vikings defense, but a very solid Vikings offense. This is a team that we thought was going to be bottom of the barrel and still might be, but don't think it's going to be necessarily competing with Arizona for that number 1 pick. I think this team wins 5-6 games at very least. Obviously, they're well on their way with 1.
Yeah. I do also want to quickly, I know we're obviously we're already at 40 minutes, so we might have to, but something the NFL and ESPN did that I'm not sure is a great thing, and I want to preface this by the person who wrote this, the first name is Leonard, and that is the NFL's African Players of the Week. And it's a wild piece of journalism. So the African Player of the Week, Brandon Ayuk.
I thought you meant like players that are playing in the country of Africa.
No.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
No, that's why it was insane.
Continue.
Then most improved African Player of the Week, Felix Nduki Uzoma from Kansas City. African Moment of the Week, Noah Igbinogi touchdown from the Cowboys.
Okay.
And there's some honorable mentions in there.
Now, I do have a question. Are these people from, like, they were born in Africa?
Or their parents or grandparents are from Africa?
That's the
cutoff
cutoff of the to be okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it like
something? I feel like
I didn't hear the original publication. What was the publication that put this out?
It was ESPN and the NFL as well. Like, it's the NFL with ESPN kind of working together on this. But it was from a guy named Leonard, and I just think that's funny. This is some white dude's like, I'm going to post about the top African Players of the week.
Look at this! Look at this! How neat is that? Oh my gosh, that's neat. That's neat as hell. It reminds me of Atlanta. That white guy in Atlanta that keeps talking to Donald Glover. He's like, I get it, man. I get it. And he's like, no, bro, you don't. Like, don't talk to
me. But all right, we're gonna move into our main topic of the week.
I was just saying, if we wanted, it's a lot. We do have time and weeks in between to move.
Yeah. So here's what we're gonna do. We were going to come in here and do the entire Atlantic Division. We got off track just a little bit. Mainly talking about
NFL.
The Clune, and Ted Danson.
And Ted.
Yeah. So we blamed the trio for us getting off topic.
Right.
But so instead, we're just going to do the Bruins, the Maple Leafs, the Lightning, and the Panthers today. So let's jump right into it with the Boston Bruins, who last season went 65-12-5, with 135 points, first in the Atlantic Division, under the lead of Jim Montgomery. They lost in the first round to the Florida Panthers, and their Stanley Cup preseason odds. I actually pulled up a better site to get this from this time.
Nice.
Plus 2,200.
Not just some guy's kid who's like, oh, I like this number, Daddy.
Yeah.
Okay. What'd you say those odds were?
Plus 2,200.
Plus 2,200. Sounds about right.
Yeah,
I don't know that I put any money on it. I think we saw like a flash in the pan, not a flash in the pan, but a season that we'll never see again. I still have a lot of the same concerns that we had. I'm so sorry. This is predictions. Okay. Nope. This is do not use one of those docs. I pulled a wrong date. I'm glad I double checked because I was like, David Krejci was like, he was definitely not a notable addition. He's been on the team. So let me see if I think I did, but thoughts just ahead before I pull up some notable additions.
I mean,
like where's your head at with this team?
I don't think they're cup winners. I think they repeat as President Cup winners, though. I don't think it's as dominant. I don't think that it's 135 points. I think maybe it's 121, 123.
Okay.
But I still think
still big. You still feel but you still feel as though this is the team to beat in this division.
100%.
Despite what
in the league,
despite what Florida did, where they really got it together. So in the league. So you feel it's we're gonna see kind of what we saw last year, but not as potent. I get what you're saying there, like, but more or less the same of what
Yeah.
it was.
I
That
think at the
season
end
was
of the
just
season,
so
it's still going to
dominant.
be. Yeah, I think at the end of the season, it's still going to be competitive up until like maybe the last couple
Sure.
games. Whereas this one, it was like
I
they had
feel
it
ya.
locked in pretty
Yeah, I
early.
feel you. I feel you on that for sure. So I can agree with that. I am nothing.
But all right, while you look that up, let's move into the Maple Leaves. Let me pull them up. I can find them. Toronto Maple Leafs right here. Finished last season 50, 21, and 11, 111 points, second in the Atlantic Division under the command of Sheldon Keefe. This is a team that honestly, if the Bruins hadn't been so dominant, this is a team that people would have talked about more, but they were overshadowed by their big brother in Boston. So they lost in the second round to the Panthers, and they won in the first round against Tampa Bay. So this site says that their preseason odds are plus, if I can find it, plus 800. Let me check this site. This one says plus 900. So okay, so Hockey Reference has them at about right at plus 800. I don't think they should be better odds than Boston, to be honest with you.
No, that sounds
Like they're just
like
trying
a
to get,
big
I don't know.
discrepancy for sure. Yeah, that sounds like very much like a discrepancy to me. I'm not sure. This guy did bring his kid in. It sounds like Bob. He's like, hey, what do you think? He's like, what do you think about this team? He's like, plus 800, Dad. So
Yeah.
let's see here. Did I pull up a correct year? Let's see. It was written on 2023, so either this guy wrote this for the future about a wrong year, or I found something that I can use. So let's see here. You know what? I'll tell you what. Why don't you just go through and give us every one of these four teams standings and their odds, so I can make sure that I have some appropriate information for us, bud.
All right, I can do that. Tampa Bay Lightning, 46, 30, and 6 at 98 points. Third in the Atlantic, under the lead of one John Cooper. They currently sitting at plus 1,200 to win it, and they lost in the first round against Toronto. Their leaders on the ice, Nikita Kucherov at 113 in points. Braden Point was their goal leader with 51's a 50-goal scorer. Love to see it. Braden Point is a guy that we have loved for a long time in fantasy before he was the Braden Point that he is now. And Nikita Kucherov with 83 assists. Absolutely dominant by those guys. And then we got the Florida Panthers, who had a pretty decent run, some would say, but they did lose, and that's all that matters.
They were the first loser, Bob.
But
they were the first loser.
Yeah, or the last place winner. Either way, I guess glass half full on that one.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, I guess last place. I don't know. I guess not. I guess you definitely not know. There's only one winner, so I guess you just like you said first.
Yeah. First loser. First loser.
Yeah. Or some would say they got the shortest vacation. So and they still had nothing to show
right.
for it.
Right. And got an absolute beatdown from Vegas in the for their trouble. Hey, thanks for showing up, guys. We needed somebody to get beat by Vegas, so I was happy to have you.
Yeah, the all the golf courses in Florida were like, where's our normal tee times? The Panthers, they're not here on time like they usually are every playoff time. But at 42, 32, and 8 with 92 points, they finished fourth in the Atlantic under Paul Maurice, and they have plus 900 odds to win. So again, kind of wild, but it is what it is. Matthew Tkachuk, 109 points. Carter Verhaeghe, 842 goals. And Matthew Tkachuk with a very nice 69 assists.
Nice. Okay, Bob, I am going to give you a chance because it was really my fault for not having the appropriate data. I told you I did the research. I didn't even check up on my own research. So this is my fault. I'm going to give you a chance to walk back some stuff. We've both been at work a lot. We're not able to keep up with as much. I'm going to let you walk back your Boston comments because Before I go into their key additions, I am going to discuss their key departures. I think you may have forgot about a couple of these cats. But
I think I
Patrice
did.
Bergeron will not be there. David Krejci not be there. Taylor Hall won't be there. Tyler Bertuzzi won't be there. And Thomas Nosek. And Bergeron retired. David Krejci, likely retirement. Obviously, the other three are just elsewhere. They did sign, and I'll give you the signings, and I'm going to let you stick with your prediction if you want. They're not necessarily a bad team. They're just definitely a different team without some of those guys. But James Van Riemsdyk, Kevin Shattenkirk, Milan Lucic, Morgan Geekie, and Jesper Boquist are their key additions there.
Okay.
David Pastrnak's still there. Marchand's still there. Why have I totally spaced?
I'm going to say then, I am going to change up a little bit. I'm going to say
change up. I'm going to give you that
to
opportunity.
the president. I'm going to say I'm going to say no to the President's Cup, but yes to the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
I think
not a crazy call. I think that's a better prediction.
Still a very good team. Yeah.
I think that's a better prediction for this team. Linus Ullmark needs to step it up for sure. He won the Vezina.
100%.
Obviously, it's hard to step it up past winning the Vezina, but a lot more is going to fall.
Yeah,
on
nothing
you.
like beginning of preseason with that Vezina winner needs to step it up.
Well, I mean, I'm not. I don't want to take away.
You're not wrong.
He's not Marc-Andre Fleury. I'm not trying to take away from this guy. But the thing is, how many goals weren't scored because of Patrice Bergeron being on the ice? You know what I'm saying? Like, that is a whole new aspect to where he's going to have to step it up just appropriately because he didn't have the opportunity to last year. Does that jive? Is that making
I get
sense?
it. No, I got what you were saying from the very get-go. It's just amazing hearing that the Vezina winner has to step it up.
Hey,
that's just not something you usually hear. These
30-year-old grown men that can't even go into the office without complaining about it sure do have a lot to say about a .938 save percentage in the Vezina with a 165 point record season. So I mean, get it together, guy. What are you doing out there? So yeah, I mean, Bertuzzi, big loss. Taylor Hall also departing for the Leafs. I don't think they win the division. I do think they make the playoffs. I think that they just have too much not to. But I definitely think they come a little bit more down to earth. Moving on to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Key departures: Justin Hall, Alex Kerfoot, Noel Acciari, Ryan O'Reilly, Michael Bunting, and Kyle Dubas. Not really sure why they threw the GM in. I mean, yes, I guess he's a notable, but not for what we're talking about. Anyway, they did sign Ryan Reeves, signed John Klingberg, signed Tyler Bertuzzi, and Max Domi. Good signings. I think that it more than covers the talent that they lost. I don't think that they lost any major piece of their organization except for maybe their GM, Bob. But other than that, I really like the signing of Ryan Reeves. I mean, he is what he is type of deal.
Yeah.
Like what he's going to give you.
I agree.
Guys may not like the way he plays and stuff, but he definitely has that old school hockey mentality of I'm going to protect my guys. And like, that's what you got to do for a guy like Austin Matthews is show him, bro. Like we're willing to let somebody catch some assault charges to protect you, dude. Like he's Sean William Scott in Goon, so love that signing. Like the Klingberg signing as well. Definitely a step there in the right direction. And I really like the Tyler Bertuzzi. I think he's really going to work well there. I don't know how he's going to get to play any games since it is in Canada, and I'm sure that he is still anti the COVID vaccine. But it'll be interesting to see how he makes that. What if he plays in a bubble, Bob? That'd be sick. That'd be just absolutely sick, nasty. If he just had a bubble boy bubble, and he was still competent. That'd be awesome. So Maple
Oh,
Leafs, I think they're winning the division. I do not think they win
Okay.
I'm going to call this now because this is the perfect time to call it because I can easily just fall away from it. I think they win a playoff series.
Okay. I think they win the division. I think they lose in the first round.
Okay. I mean, that's bold prediction there, Bob. Well, don't go too far. Don't go too color out far outside the lines. No. I mean, that's a good prediction. It's even money at this point, right? I mean, well, not even even money. It's definitely the best money there. So yeah, I like them. Tampa Bay, some key departures: Alex Killorn, Ross Colton, Ian Cole, Patrick Maroon, Corey Perry. Honestly, I'm sorry. I think that losing Corey Perry was supposed to go into the notable offseason moves for them. So notable offseason moves was they got out from under Corey Perry and whatever he had over them. Signings: Connor Sheary, Josh Archibald, Luke Glendening, Calvin DeHaan. Couple of guys that I definitely think will work with their system. Connor Sheary is, it's surprising that I was surprised seeing his name as a person that now plays for them because he always, I know he's played for Pittsburgh, but he kind of feels like that lightning type of player that they're going to bring in and be able to move around, kind of like a Palat almost to me. Josh Archibald, we've seen him do a few things. No big offseason moves, but it turns out that when you have Vasi and Hedman and Stamkos and Braden Point and Nikita Kucherov, it turns out, Bob, that it's just a lot of white noise when things outside of that group is happening. I believe that they are coming into the season healthy. Alex Killorn was a loss. That was a guy that did a lot for them that I feel like was an actual loss for them because he does some stuff that those other guys don't necessarily do. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a good team. Looking through this is my number 2 team in the division.
Okay. Nice. I don't. Yeah, I think it goes Maple Leafs, Panthers, Bruins, Lightning for me.
Okay. So you're going to stick to the top 4. You're just, not that I'm saying you shouldn't, but you're just going to completely ignore those other 4 teams as your top. The top 4 we're talking about today.
100%.
Okay. Well, I'm not necessarily going absolutely bold. We'll talk the Florida Panthers. I'll talk through them a little bit. Notable, departures: Anthony Duclair going to San Jose in a trade. Radko Gudas, Alex Leon, Mark and Eric Stahl. They apparently were trying to collect the whole set. They couldn't get Jordan, so they said, let's just get rid of it. If we can't collect them all, I'm out. Some notable offseason moves: signed Nico Mikola, signed Evan Rodriguez, signed Oliver Ekman-Larsson, signed Mike Riley, signed Anthony Stolarz, and signed Dmitry Kulikov. Honestly, Bob, can I get a little props? I feel like I've been absolutely shredding the names today, dude. I am I messed up on that last one. I messed up on that last one, but I've been shredding the names today. It was extra points until I brought it up and tried to get props for it, huh? I could have just accepted like, oh man, he's a hockey guy. He knows how to say hockey names. And it's more I've got to, hey, look I did good, right, Bob? Do I do good? Love the Evan Rodriguez signing. I think that is something I totally didn't bring into my thought process. Love that signing. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, absolutely think that that's a big name that they've brought in. I don't think that really means anything for them. I think that he's kind of shown the past few years that when, he's just not lately been the guy that we thought that he was, in my opinion. I mean, hey, lots of people. Didn't he go to Vancouver? Correct me if I'm wrong. He was playing in.
That sounds right.
He went somewhere and just didn't step up to the plate. Maybe this is a new change of pace, and he gets to play alongside the talent that is the Florida Panthers. I'm going to stick with it. Panthers are actually they're getting in the playoffs, Bob, but it's going to be again via the wild card to me.
Okay.
And when we do part 2, I may walk it back. But there is a team on the other side that I think is going to slide into the 3 spot. I'm not going to tell on air. I'm going to let you feel free to shoot your shots and your guesses. I do think that they make the playoffs. I do not think that it is via the 1, 2, or 3 seed in the Atlantic.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I gave my top 4. I think though that's not my hey, I'm going on paper saying that.
No,
we'll
we
do
have
that a little bit later.
we've made
just,
we've made plenty of predictions probably that are all like counterintuitive, like, oh, this team's getting the playoffs. We probably put 40 teams in the playoffs, like so.
Yeah.
No. We'll right before the season, we'll go in and we'll put a hard number down and a hard this is what we wanna do.
Yeah.
Okay.
But all right, let's move into our joke of the week.
The weird. Corey Perry. Yeah, I don't like this. Wild. I think the first read was a good one. Now I'm overthinking it. Outlandish.
Each 6th chick sat on a stick. Little tongue twister.
And downright dumb.
You're kidding me.
It's time for the joke of the week.
All right, you found this one. Hit us with it.
Honestly, it's great for us, Bob. I mean, it's people that we've been trying to catch some contracts from anyway. But the good news is out there. We will fight imperialism together, North Korea's Kim tells Vladimir Putin. The world is in safe hands, Bob. Obviously, North Korea, sure, not imperialistic whatsoever. I will 100% back Kim Jong-un up on that. Like, that dude, North Korea doesn't have an imperialistic bone in their body, mostly because they can't even feed their people. So they can't take over cultures in the world.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, they don't have
a problem
bones in their body for anything because they don't have any milk, I think.
100%.
Yeah.
And if you ever get caught saying that, Bob, you're dead. Okay. So
yeah.
Don't say it, because we got plenty of milk for people that we need to have bones for them to shoot you for you talking about the no milk. So, I do find it interesting who he is teaming up with for the anti-imperialism stance. I'm not sitting here trying to say that America itself not imperialistic, not a questionable, it's like one of those things when people are like, you're being imperialist, and we're like, we thought you guys knew that. We're dope. We want to be everywhere. We want to take over everything, but like with fun stuff like McDonald's and like we pretend, hey, we're your friend. You want McDonald's? And that's how we trick you into coming to America. Russia, totally different way of going about it, where they want like 7 or 8 dudes to have everything and nobody to have any McDonald's or whatever. And they attack people to take over. So, I mean, we do as well, no question. But it's just an interesting thing. Like if he was like teamed up with like Ghana, we're Ghana and North Korea, we're gonna fight imperialism together, buddy. It's like, well, Ghana's not very imperialistic.
At first, I thought you said. At first, I know you said Ghana, but at first, my brain for some reason thought you said Gaga. Like if he teamed up with Gaga. And I was like,
see, the thing is, if he teamed up with Lady Gaga, imperialism would have been done yesterday, bro. It would have already never have happened. You throw Katy Perry in there with some fireworks. I don't know if you remember the interview. Remember when he loved that song? Did you ever see the interview?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry. When
they're-
you said the
they're sitting
interview,
in
I
the
thought you were
tank.
talking about an actual
Oh
interview.
no,
and I
no,
was
no!
like, whoa.
The movie when they're sitting in the tank. And
I love
fireworks.
that movie.
Dude. It is so funny.
Do you ever feel like a plastic bag?
My favorite, there's so many quotable lines from that movie, but mine is, he has a no butthole. He has a no need for one. He does not pee or poop. I didn't read the article. I know we're speeding through here, trying to get to the final push. I don't really think it needs any more explanation.
Not at all.
It is two pots calling the kettle black. So
Yeah.
what a joke! Oh, hey, but if you're listening, we got a podcast and we're great at propaganda. So I'm just unrelated to anything we've just discussed. I don't really know what North Korea's spy network is. They probably don't have one, but the SVR, if you're listening, I think we always say KGB, Bob. The KGB actually died with the Soviet Union. It's actually the SVR now. So we should be correct when we're calling out the world's top spies. If we're gonna, we're probably offending them by calling them KGB. That was not my intent. I was trying to offend them in other ways.
Yeah. But all right, let's move into what's snapping your stick.
Bobby and Brandon are about to find out exactly what snaps their sticks.
All right, so obviously I'm working in a school now, and all around me they are dropping like flies, whether it is the children, whether it is the admin, whether it is other teachers. People are getting sick all around me. I've got
so many flies at your school, man.
Yeah, I've got I've got hand sanitizer on my desk. I've got one on a different desk across the room for kids to use. And I saw there was one the other day that was like sniffling and like stuff, and I was like, "Whoa, you stay over there, and I'll help you from right here."
They're nasty, bro.
I ain't about that.
Kids are nasty,
especially my freshmen. My seniors, not that bad. My freshman class, ooh, y'all sick. Y'all need to just chill over there.
Seniors can. Well, I guess I was gonna say seniors can buy cigarettes. They're cool now, but they actually can't because it's 21 now for cigarettes, isn't it? So, fire losers! I can't even smoke, dude. No, I feel you there. Honestly, I'm glad we record virtually. I feel like I'm still gonna I feel like I'm still catching some of the germs that you bring home on a daily basis now, and we are literally 100 miles away, bro. So, are we literally 100 miles away? That seems far. We're not 100 miles away, right?
That seems very far.
That's far.
I wasn't gonna correct you, but yeah,
correct.
It's I would say
you're our geography
like
guy,
65.
Bob. You're our geography guy. I think we've had 2 geographical arguments and you've won both of them. And so by our standards, I am no longer even allowed. Like if you say it, it is your authority unless I prove it wrong at this point. So you could.
I'm not sure what I'm not sure where you moved to. Is it Kingston Springs where you moved to? Are you around that area?
White Bluff, but right out of that. I'm east. But I can southeast of Dixon County.
But I can
southeast.
Okay, so let's go. Yeah.
Yeah, you get it.
We might be like maybe.
I can give you my address off air or on air. I don't care. Okay, so mine, my
82 miles.
82 miles. Okay, perfect.
From this, and I just did Kingston Springs because I already typed it in. But from Shelbyville to Kingston Springs, 82 miles.
I was close though. So that's crow flying.
When you were talking, I thought you were. Well, that's driving. Driving is
drive time.
Yeah, gotcha. Driving is 82 miles. Yeah. But no, I thought you were going to say hundreds at first. I was like, well, definitely not multiples of hundreds.
No.
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
80
Kentucky, bro.
I was rounding up.
Yeah.
You're a teacher, man. You get that. You get rounding up. Okay, so I have a quick I couldn't think of one, and then this was the first thing that came to my head. We talked about hating change. Since Big Brother started later and is on longer, their fall show line is back, and so they had to change their schedule. They're now going to be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, which is not a huge change since it was just Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays. So honestly, it actually helps me because then I have time to watch the watch the Tuesday one. Honestly, I'm changing both of these to anti-snaps my stick because everything stayed the same. But I had that as my snaps my stick. Turned out to be, I talked myself into liking this. My other anti is I actually had to get Red Zone through NFL Plus this year because
we got it through YouTube this year.
My parents didn't, not their fault. I just forgot to remind them. They didn't add the Sports Plus. So like 14 minutes to game time, I go in to log in and I call my mom. I'm like, "Oh, did you guys add the?" She's like, "No." She's like, "Red Zone." I was like, "No, yes," because Jackson had already called. He was already in on it. And she was like, "I'm not at home. I don't have my password." So I had to be resourceful. And I'm like, now I'm working on a clock, bro. If I'd have known this for hours, I could have been a man with a plan. But now I'm regretting not being on the Red Zone channel for 2 hours beforehand. So I got it through NFL Plus. And let me tell you about a little something that I have found that I absolutely love about NFL Plus. Condensed games, bro. You can watch a football game in 40 minutes, bro. Just no huddles, no nothing, bro. Football. Play. I was off on Monday, bro, and I would be lying if I didn't tell you I watched like 4 full football games because I can watch them in 40 minutes. You miss nothing. It's literally, how ridiculous is it that we have to sit down? If you don't watch Red Zone, you have to sit down for 3.5 hours on a Sunday. And what you get is 40 minutes of football. 40 minutes. Like, it's like, whoa, like, what are you guys doing with this other 2 hours and 2 hours and 20 minutes? That's a lot of time. That's just, so it's super cool, man. I'll have to show you, dude. It's pretty awesome.
So hey, great time. I will say real quick though that it is great as 30-year-olds are like. I also, first thing I did was call my mom and ask how I would get in Red Zone. And she 30 and she said 20, she was like, well, yeah. So she immediately she was like, well, I was looking at YouTube TV, and if I sign up for YouTube TV the day of week 1, she was waiting. She gets 3 months of Red Zone and Sunday Ticket for free.
Oh,
so
nice.
She, but you had to sign up for YouTube TV, not 2 days before. It had to be the Sunday of before noon.
That was a win. Yeah. She was a man with a plan for sure. So well, see, the YouTube TV is good.
Thanks, Mom.
I don't even feel like weird about sharing that we share that because it's literally the family account. Like, it's actually the one that's like, yeah, share it, because I never got not sharing because you limit the amount of streams that can happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so like the people that want to watch it all the time are going to get their own if they have to have that many streams. And the people that don't are just not going to get Netflix. Like, okay, I just won't watch your content and tell people about it. I'm pretty good at convincing people that I know a lot about a show on Netflix and that they should watch it. They're never gonna. Okay. So they really should know that about me.
But all right, guys. Hey, thanks for hanging out. It was a great time. Hopefully we'll be back next week, maybe in 2 weeks, but we'll see what happens with the schedule. Until then, keep being awesome. For Brandon, I'm Bobby. This has been the Pucks Out Podcast. See ya next time.
Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Pucks Out Podcast. To see what other ridiculousness the guys are up to, check them out on Twitter and Instagram @PucksOutPod.